Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 10th episode, the Big 1-0. Today, let's talk about growth mindset. So, growth mindset was an idea that was conceived by a psychologist by the name of Carol Dweck. And growth mindset, in a nutshell, means that you have a belief that yourself or others have the ability to improve your capacity or your talents over time, if you work at it and practice. This is in opposition to what's known as a fixed mindset, and it's a really bad one to have. So a fixed mindset is that the talents that you're born with, that's what you're stuck with. So if you were born and you suck at sports, a fixed mindset would say that you cannot improve. Whereas a growth mindset would say, sure, you might have to practice harder or work more at it than a person with natural talents, but you can still get better, you can get good, you can even get great. With cognitive ability, a fixed mindset would mean that, if you're not the brightest person, you're just kind of going to stay that way. Whereas a growth mindset says, hey, you can become smarter, you can start thinking better. You might, again, have to work at it or practice a little bit, whereas somebody with these natural abilities wouldn't have to, but you can definitely do it if you put your mind to it. And I would say that every mental health person I know has a belief in a growth mindset, because if not, it means you can't get better, you can't improve your place in life or the way that you think about things, how your thoughts affect your behavior. You're just stuck there. So therapists in general believe in a growth mindset. That's great. We need that. And I want you to believe in a growth mindset for yourself as well. You see, a growth mindset doesn't just say, hey, you know what, if I want to get good at baseball, I can do that. I have to practice more than the next guy. I have to work harder. I might need extra training, where someone with natural talent wouldn't need to do all that, but I can do it. And so if you think about it, you can probably see where having a growth mindset can make you more likely to succeed, because a person who believes that they can do it will be persistent. They'll learn from failure. What works? What doesn't work for me? Things that work for the next guy may not work for you at all. You may have to go about things a completely different way, but oh well, I'll do it. And if that doesn't work, well, I'll try something else. So it comes down to the belief that whatever you put your mind to, you can do if you're persistent and you don't give up and you work at it. And that's definitely important if you want to succeed, because if you want to do something and you say, okay, I want to be a famous singer, or not even famous, I just want to be a great singer. And the first time someone tells you sound like a cat in the shower, that's me, by the way, the cat in the shower, I'm talking about me. But if you hear that from somebody, or any kind of negative critique, and you give up, if somebody says, oh, well, you can't be a great artist or a famous rapper or the best, basketball player of all time, well, then you're going to stop. You're not going to try. Deal done. But if you're like, nah, screw what they say. I know I can do this. I got this. I might not know how. I might have to do a lot of work to get there, but I'm going to get there. That mindset, that's what you need to succeed no matter what you're doing. So growth mindset is something that you really have to adopt if you want to get to where you're going in life. Pretty simple. And the great part about growth mindset, like I said earlier, it's learning from failure. So when you have a fixed mindset and you fail, you may give yourself negative feedback, and your brain will believe you if you tell it enough times. Oh, I'm too stupid. I'll never be able to do that. I don't have the talent. I am not skilled enough. I'm too dumb. If you think that, you've already lost, my friend. You've already lost. But if you believe in yourself, no matter what, you're going to find a way to do it. If you have to hire someone to train you, if you got to practice 7 days a week, if you have to read 100 books to learn the skill, you're going to find a way to do it. That goes in every part of life. So learning from failure is part of that. When you fail and you say, well, I give up. I'm too dumb. That's it. You lost. But if you say, okay, let's see, what did I do wrong? Is there a better way to do this? Is there a different way to do this? How can I work with my personal strengths and my personal challenge areas? I prefer to call them challenge areas rather than weaknesses because it just has a more positive spin. So I have these strengths and I have these areas that challenge me. How can I either improve in the areas that challenge me or work around them or work with them in some way? How can I make that work for me? If you have that kind of mindset where you learn from every failure, and let me tell you, when you see celebrities and successful people, we always hear about the triumphs, don't we? The invention that they did get right, the world record that they did set, but they're not telling you that before a person set a world record, maybe they failed like 60 times, but they learned and they kept going and they were persistent. Even if nobody else believed in them, they believed in themselves. So you don't see all the times they failed. You only see the times they won. So it can be kind of surprising when you go back and look at, for example, your favorite band. A lot of them, before they got that first hit song, it took them 10 or 15 years to get big. But they kept trying. They believed in something, in themselves, in their dream, whatever. So one of the best tools for success is having that growth mindset, that positive attitude. It's all in your head. It's all in your head. Just keep on trying. Now, because this is such a positive thing and because you're more likely to succeed with the growth mindset, somebody had the great idea of saying, you know what, maybe we should teach this in school. Maybe we should teach young people about the growth mindset early on, so as they grow up, they already have that skill and they're more likely to succeed. So I was reading an article in the magazine Psychology Today. It's a legit magazine written by people in the field of psychology. And what they found is there's a mixed results when it comes to the school experiments. Now, I didn't get to read through all of the specific experiments, but some had really good outcomes and some not so much. Now, the problem with this is that we have to ask in any research, how was the research done? What method was used to teach the growth mindset? Maybe one way of teaching it is better than another. Or maybe one way of teaching it works better for this kind of group than that kind of group, age, geographic area, socioeconomic status, whatever. So I didn't get a chance to really look at all that to determine why some of them failed. But I believe personally that there's a couple of reasons that it might not work for some people. So we're going to talk about adults, not children, because it's likely to be adults listening to the show. There's a couple things that you might have to contend with. You say, you know what? You're right, Sam. A growth mindset is a good idea. I need to do this. Well, remember, we're all products of our whole life. Everything that we've been through in life has shaped who we are today. So if we grew up with a lot of positive messages, oh, you got this, you can do it, oh, you work so hard, keep trying, then you're already likely to have a growth mindset without even trying because it was just kind of instilled in you by your upbringing. Now, there are other people who have been told, oh, you'll never be successful at that. That's a hard business to get into. That kind of life is not for you. college is not for our people. And I've heard a lot of people say that, especially about college. And so if you were raised with these negative messages from others and you were unfortunate enough to internalize them, you might have to practice at your growth mindset. And another part of that is your self-esteem. If you have low self-esteem, then you probably don't have a growth mindset, because with low self-esteem, you don't believe in yourself. You don't believe that you're smart enough or good enough or capable enough or whatever. So if you find that getting a growth mindset is challenging for you, maybe a little bit, maybe a lot of it, then there might be some other things that you have to remind yourself. For example, if someone says, oh, you'll never be an NFL player. Well, that's because they don't believe they could be an NFL player. Maybe they were raised with those negative messages as well, and now they're passing them on to you. But I would challenge you by saying, well, somebody has to do it. Somebody's got to win an Oscar. Somebody's got to be an amazing doctor. Somebody's got to be a famous trial attorney that's known for winning the hardest cases. Somebody has to do it. Why not you? Why not you? And I'm telling you, you can do it. So if you find yourself struggling with that mindset, ask yourself, do you really believe in yourself? And if you don't, why? Is it because previous experience has taught you that you're not good at something? That's okay. Like I said, some bands had to be in business 10 to 15 years before they got a single hit song, but they kept trying. You might not always know how you're going to do it. That's a lot of us in life. Believe me, I've been there so many times. Like, I want to do this. I don't know how, but fuck it. I'm going to try it. And sometimes you really have to do that. Sometimes you just got to say, fuck it, and go for it. And if you think you can't do something because, well, I don't know enough, then learn. You have YouTube and all these online classes that are free online. You have people who write blog posts. Reach out to somebody who's doing what it is you want to do and see if they can offer you some advice. Read books. Read books. Let me tell you, I've learned so much by watching YouTube videos and educational videos like TED Talks and things like that, and reading books. All of the information that you need is out there. And if you're listening to this podcast right now, you have the resources to find the information. You just have to give yourself a fair chance at doing it. And those negative messages from your partners or your friends, your parents, other family members, society, whoever, you know what? You have to drown that out. That's it. And when that thought enters your mind, like, your parents' voice, you can't do that. That's not for you. That's not for our kind of people. You don't have what it takes. Money doesn't grow on trees. All those little negative, nagging little things that are in our brain. Sometimes you just have to tell your brain, no, that's wrong. They don't know everything. We're going to give it a fair and honest try, and I'm not going to give up. I'm going to do this. And when you command your brain, and you might have to do it more than once, you'll probably have to do it more than once. And the less you believe in yourself, the more you're going to have to train your brain, the more you're going to have to tell your brain, here's what we believe, and here's what we're going to do. And it's weird because it's like the conscious part of your brain telling the unconscious part of your brain what to do. So it's like your brain training itself. It's kind of weird. But the more you tell yourself that, the more you'll start to believe it. And the more you start to believe it, the more you'll have that growth mindset. And look, I'm not going to say that if I fail at something, I don't get down. Sometimes I do. We all do. It's normal. That's okay. Oh, that sucked. That didn't work. I was really hoping that would go through. And then I say, okay, if I'm sitting here feeling sorry for myself, then I can't figure out a different way to do this. So, what did I learn from this? And you might not learn much. The only thing you might learn is, well, don't do it that way. This way doesn't work for me. Let's do it a little bit differently. That might be the only thing you learn, but that's okay. That's okay. You learned it. You might say this part worked, but then when I got up to this point, then the rest of it did not work. So now that you know what does work and you know what doesn't work, now you can start putting all the things that work for you together and focusing on that. So there's a lot of different ways you can do it, but like a lot of other things that I'm going to tell you about on this show, it starts in the mind, and it starts with believing in yourself. The more you believe in yourself, the more confident you'll be. The more confident you are, the more positive you are. The more positive you are, the more you have a growth mindset. And the more you have a growth mindset, the more likely you are to succeed. And don't underestimate things like asking for help. Ask for help. If you want to get better at singing, so let's say I wanted to sound good and not like the proverbial cat in the bathtub, then I could watch videos on it. I could hire a voice coach. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of different ways I could go about it. Me personally, I'd probably have to hire the voice coach. I would probably have to pay him or her double and maybe give them some ibuprofen when they were done with me. But you keep trying and you keep going and you keep doing it. And if what you want to do means enough to you, then you will succeed. You will succeed. So, growth mindset. You have the ability to improve your talents, your skills, your cognitive abilities, all of that over time with practice, with work, with dedication, and with belief in yourself. I hope that helps. I would love to know what you use your growth mindset for, or what you're going to use your growth mindset for. Let me know in the comments or send me an email, and I will definitely cheer you on. Remember, believe in yourself, and that will take you so far. All right, everybody, this has been episode 10 of Random Acts of Self. Thank you all so much, and I will see you next time.